Imagine surviving the world's first atomic bomb, only to face another 3 days later. This is the unbelievable true story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, the man officially recognized as a double hibakusha, someone who lived through the bombings of both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Tsutomu Yamaguchi was born in 1916 in Japan. He grew up in poverty, but that only strengthened his resolve. Determined to build a better future, he studied naval engineering in Nagasaki and eventually joined Mitsubishi Heavy Industries as an engineer designing oil tankers. Fast forward to August 6, 1945. By the summer of 1945, World War II was nearing its end, but Japan was still fighting and the United States had just developed a new kind of weapon. Yamaguchi was in Hiroshima on a business trip just 1 day away from returning home. At 8:15 a.m., as he walked to the shipyard, the sky suddenly lit up with a blinding white flash. A moment later, the world exploded. The little boy atomic bomb had been dropped, and Yamaguchi was only 3 kilometers from ground zero. The blast wave hurled him through the air. When he came to, his body was burned, his eardrums ruptured, his vision blurred. All around him, the city was gone, replaced by fire, smoke, and silence. Dazed and in pain, he somehow made his way to Mitsubishi shipyard, where he and other survivors took shelter that night. Inside, it was a scene from a nightmare. The injured crying out in agony, many dying before dawn. No one knew what had happened. People thought it was just another bombing raid, but this was something far beyond imagination. A single bomb that had erased an entire city. Inside the shelter, fear and confusion filled the air. People were crying out for their families, asking, "What do we do now?" Some worried another attack was coming. Others were too injured, too shocked to even speak. After a sleepless night surrounded by death and smoke, Tsutomu Yamaguchi made a decision. He had to get home to Nagasaki, to his wife and baby boy. At dawn, August 7th, he crawled out of the ruins of Hiroshima. The city was unrecognizable, a landscape of ash, fire, and twisted metal. Bodies lay everywhere. Amid the devastation, he somehow found 2 colleagues, Akira Iwanaga and Kuniyoshi Sato, both wounded but alive. Together, they began their desperate journey out of the city. The roads were gone, bridges destroyed, but they walked for miles until they reached Ujina, a port district that had survived just enough to still function. Against all odds, trains and ferries were running again, patched together by surviving railway workers who had repaired the tracks through the night. After resting there, Yamaguchi and his colleagues squeezed onto a train packed with burned and bleeding passengers heading for Nagasaki. When he finally reached home, Yamaguchi embraced his wife Hisako and their baby son Katsutoshi. He told them everything: the blinding flash, the firestorm, the destruction beyond imagination. But few could believe it. News from Hiroshima hadn't spread. The city's communication lines were destroyed. There were rumors, yes, but most people thought they were exaggerated or impossible. How could one bomb erase an entire city? So life in Nagasaki carried on almost as normal. On the morning of August 9, 1945, people went to work, children went to school, and the sun rose like any other day. Even Yamaguchi, still bandaged and burned, went back to his job at Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. He tried to warn his colleagues, "You don't understand. One bomb destroyed all of Hiroshima." But they dismissed him. Some thought he was delirious, others laughed. A single bomb doing that? Impossible. And then at 11:02 a.m., fate struck again. The second atomic bomb, Fat Man, was dropped on Nagasaki. The explosion over Nagasaki was every bit as apocalyptic as Hiroshima. In an instant, the sky turned white. The shockwave ripped through the Mitsubishi office, shattering glass, tearing down walls, and collapsing the roof. But once again, Tsutomu Yamaguchi was lucky. The building he was in stood behind a hill, and its reinforced concrete absorbed much of the blast. Against all odds, he had survived a second atomic bomb. He was burned, injured, and exhausted, but he was alive. The odds of surviving one atomic bomb were almost zero. Surviving 2 unthinkable. In the years that followed, Yamaguchi's story became a symbol of unimaginable resilience. Officially, the Japanese government recognized him as the only person to have survived both bombings, but historians believe there may have been as many as 165 others who experienced the same nightmare, people who fled Hiroshima for Nagasaki only to be caught in the second attack. Many of them never spoke about it. After the war, hibakusha, the atomic bomb survivors, faced harsh discrimination. People believed radiation sickness was contagious. Employers refused to hire survivors, thinking they were weak or unstable. So many hid their identities, choosing silence over stigma. One survivor would later say, "We were not treated as victims. We were treated as reminders of something people wanted to forget." But Tsutomu Yamaguchi refused to be silent. He spent his later years speaking out, not with bitterness but with purpose. He became a voice for peace, telling the world what he had seen and what it had cost humanity. Tsutomu Yamaguchi's life is a reminder that even in the darkest moments of human history, the strength to survive and to hope can still endure. He saw humanity at its worst and still believed in the possibility of something better. Tsutomu Yamaguchi passed away in 2010, living to the age of 93. He endured unimaginable suffering, yet he spent his life urging the world to choose peace over destruction, in particular addressing the United Nations in 2006 and calling for nuclear disarmament. Tsutomu Yamaguchi's life is a reminder that even in the darkest moments of human history, hope can still endure. He saw humanity at its worst, but still believed in the possibility of something better.